gang, and welcome back to the Movie Club Emporium. And this our final week of Neo-Noir November. And we are going out this year. We're ending this year's November uh, with a bang. Not the bang of the ice machine making ice. No, it is my favorite time of the year when I force my dear put upon wife Amber to watch a David Lynch film. And this week, this year I should say, we hit the big one. And by that I mean this year we are ending on Twin Peaks: Fire Walk with Me from 1992. Now, a little backstory on this movie. Uh, so you have Twin Peaks, the show, which comes out in 1990, runs 2 years. Spoilery, not spoiler, show ends on a cliffhanger, a pretty big one. And so the next year, here comes David Lynch. We're doing a movie, and everybody who loved Twin Peaks said, "Yay! He's gonna give us all the answers," because apparently they'd never seen a David Lynch film before. And instead, he gave us a prequel that essentially is the final days of Laura Palmer's life. Because if you know Twin Peaks, the show opens with her being found and the FBI coming in to investigate and so on and so forth. Um, and so the movie is that. And what's also funny is the fact in 2017 when they announced the return, people were like, "Yay, he's gonna do a third season and explain everything." And instead, you get an 18-hour David Lynch movie that nowhere near gives you all the answers. And here's the thing: I was trying to talk to Amber earlier about Twin Peaks, and this is you can get online and you can find uh, Twin Peaks explained videos they're upwards of 6 hours long. And they can explain that they will give you their explanation, their opinion on what every minute detail means in Twin Peaks. And good on them. For me, personally, this is the best way that I've enjoyed Twin Peaks. Um, to me, Twin Peaks is a vibe. And what I mean by that is Twin Peaks, whether it's the original series, whether it's the return, um, even kind of to a lesser extent, but still the same with the film, A Fire Walk with Me. Twin Peaks to me has always been about the world of Twin Peaks and not what is happening in that world. I described it as saying Twin Peaks is not about where we're going on this trip. It's about the world right outside your windshield. And that's what Twin Peaks has always been to me. It's this world, this David Lynch world of kooky characters and bizarre, unexplainable things and really engrossing characters and just pure insanity for insanity's sake and dream logic and everything that somebody who enjoys and appreciates Lynch for is in this world that he's created. This, his in Twin Peaks is kind of his magnum opus, if you will. And I mean, like I said, I've said before, I'll say it again. Mulholland Drive is my favorite Lynch film. It's my favorite movie of all time. But Twin Peaks is so much the quintess, like you want to just immerse yourself in everything that David Lynch's world has to offer. It's I akin it to like Stephen King's Dark Tower. It's like this is the best of everything that he does. It's all here. Having said that, we're talking about Fire Walk with Me, the film, and I had not seen it since high school. I found a VHS copy of it for sale at a video store. Bought it without having ever seen the show. I remember Nick and I watching this movie and not having any idea what was going on. And 20 some odd years later, after having seen the show and then the return, I was like, and really diving full forward into Lynch, I feel like I have what I take away from this movie. And if nothing else, if I'm not able to explain it, maybe I'm able to help explain why it was, why I feel it was widely hated the way it was. This movie was not. This movie was booed at Cannes. It upset so many people. And to me, it's this. And again, I'm not going to. Number one, I'm not going to spoil it because you should totally check out the show, all 3 seasons plus the film. Again, to me, if you want to dive into what Lynch has to do without sitting down and just watching all these movies back to back to back, Twin Peaks is the way to go. It's probably about the same amount of length, maybe a little longer, but Twin Peaks, the world of Twin Peaks will give you everything you could want that Lynch brings to film on a massive scale. If you watch the original series, it is a very quirky, bizarre, avant-garde police procedural. It's an FBI agent who goes to a small town in Washington State to solve a murder. And then the show just blossoms out because it's filled with all these rich, weird, but insanely memorable characters, and this atmosphere and this way that this world works and the people who live in it. But again, it was a show on early 90s television. This is before the days of, The Sopranos and premium HBO shows. This is even before when my parents would watch NYPD Blue, and I remember hearing, bad words on TV shows. I'm not gonna say them here. This is YouTube. Get out of here. But that's what the show was. Get to Fire Walk with Me. And again, this movie is a prequel. The first 20 to 30 minutes of this film honestly is a prequel to the prequel because it takes place a year before the events of Twin Peaks in a different town, Deer Meadow, which is essentially like Twin Peaks' Shelbyville. And then we go into the rest of the film, which is essentially the final days of Laura Palmer. And this film, while having a lot of returning characters, we are no longer in a world of quirky, silly world building. This is if the television series of Twin Peaks, the original series, was a police procedural set in this crazy, weird little town, Fire Walk with Me is the horror film set in this quiet little town, because this is a horror film. It is having to do with this high school girl who is going through so much. And To me, that is the end all be all of this film is Cheryl Lee, who plays Laura Palmer. She plays her like doppelganger slash cousin in the series, but she is Laura Palmer. She's the prom queen in the picture. That if you think Twin Peaks, that's what it is. Her performance in this movie is so powerful. It is on a level that you can like in recent memory, all I can think about, like with the performance she gives, with the emotions that she has to go through in this film, what she has to put of herself out there. To me, I haven't seen like the most recent thing I can think of would be Mia Goth in Pearl. That ending 10-minute monologue and then the ending credits of that movie. If you know, you know. Or Toni Collette in Hereditary. Just this raw, emotional, ugly, um, yet sorrowful, just insane performance that she gives. And this movie, if you do watch it, it does tell you it. That's the other thing too. It is a prequel, but it does wrap up Twin Peaks. Um, I just think that when this came out, people were expecting more of the show, and instead, Lynch gives you this dark and nasty little picture that does give you the overall arching answer: who killed Laura Palmer, and yet makes it so despicable that he almost punishes the audience for asking the question. Um, it's rough. It's a rough movie. Last year we did, or year before I should say, we did Lost Highway, which is a mean, at points, a very mean and nasty thriller. Uh, Having now watched this, I think this is his maybe his darkest film. This movie touches on some subjects that are just absolutely um, skin crawling, and it's all played out in just real disgusting environments. There's a scene in this bar that's just lit by red light bulbs, and there's all these slow pans of just this disgusting bare floor covered in beer bottles and cigarette butts and every this is this is the ick of Twin Peaks. So if you've watched a lot of Lynch's stuff, he really dives into what is below the surface of Americana. It's even metaphored so well in Blue Velvet. This movie shows you the bottom of what's under the rug, what's under the dirt of Twin Peaks. And I don't think people were ready or wanted what they actually got. It's a thing of be careful what you ask for. Because again, he does give you, all the hounding was, well, who did it? Who did it? That was almost the fight he had constantly with ABC was, you have to tell who did it. If you watch or read things, he wanted the show to go, and we never knew, but they just forced his hand. Do it, and everybody. I want to know. I want to know. I want to know. And so he wish masters you, and he gives you exactly what happens right up to the moment that she is pulled out of the water wrapped in plastic, and it is sad and horrific, and again almost punishes the audience for asking those questions. However, as a film, the way it's shot, it's absolutely breathtaking. Criterion this year re-released it in 4K. It was one of the last things that Lynch approved the 4K remaster of before his passing. It's absolutely stunning to look at. Um, Angelo, I always butcher his last name. Angelo Badalamenti wrote the music for the show, wrote the music for several of Lynch's films, does the music for this. You get the classic themes from the show, the main theme, Laura's theme, the other characters that have their own little themes. He also has this haunting noir score that starts at the very beginning while the opening credits are done over TV static. And you have this incredible cast because you have a lot of people returning from the show. You also get David Bowie shows up, Chris Isaac, Harry Dean Stanton. But again, everything in this movie boils down to the performance of Sheryl Lee. And to some lesser degree, Ray Wise, who is an underrated actor. He gives a incredible performance, I'll say that without getting into spoilers. But Sheryl Lee is on another level. I know that she like stopped acting for a while after this because she gives everything she's got in this movie. It is an emotional, masterful performance, and it's something that even I can't imagine watching this movie, even if you loved the show and hated the movie, which most of the fans of the show did. They hated this movie. You cannot watch this movie and not give a standing ovation to her performance because she is absolutely incredible. Again, this isn't my. I think this is Lynch's darkest movie. It's not a. I don't know if it's one that's a rewatchable one for me. You know, I can rewatch Blue Velvet. I love watching Mulholland Drive because I can find little different pieces and this and that. This one I think would be too rough of a sit. I know Nick and I have talked about revisiting Twin Peaks as a whole, and maybe then. But having not seen this movie in 20 years, it still packs a punch, and it's maybe the closest that Lynch ever came to just making an all-out balls to the wall horror film, and it is something to behold. So, again, if you're interested in the world of David Lynch, I would suggest Twin Peaks only because you're able to get everything you want kind of boiled down into this one thing. But be warned, Lynch is not for everybody. We do have a couple more Lynch movies on the table. I figured we missed one more, so will be one more year. But I mean, Dune really isn't really a neo-noir, so we won't be doing that one. But that's going to bring an end to Neo-Noir November, and what a wallop of a movie to go out on. But next, we're not done quite yet in the Neosphere. Because Saturday, the 29th, I know it's 2 days after Thanksgiving. Here's what you do. You get done your online shopping. You get up late Saturday because you do like a 5-day weekend. Some people do. Not me, but some people do. You make a little leftover plate, maybe a leftover sandwich, some turkey and dressing sandwich. I don't know. The point is, whatever you do Saturday the 29th, you make sure that you join Nick and I right here at youtube.com/@the-Movie-Club-Emporium and over on our Twitch channel where we do dual streaming. Nick and I are going to be talking about neo-westerns. Western is not a topic we talk about a lot. A lot of people don't really get into it. So we're going to be talking about neo-westerns, which is essentially westerns that don't take place in the West. No cowboy hats. But we're talking about 6 neo westerns that run the gambit of horror, sci-fi, crime, siege. We're running the gambit on neo western, so you're not gonna want to miss that. And then I know you're also thinking, well, Jason, there's still a Saturday, there's still a Sunday left after that in November. What are we doing? Well, here's the thing. I apparently have discovered that I am an idiot because I thought I need 5 weeks for December, not 4. Because I am going to tackle for our December holiday theme the Silent Night, Deadly Night franchise. Uh, Honestly, we're kicking it back to the way we used to do things back at the very first show we ever did called The Binge on Facebook. I'm taking on an entire franchise. So every week there will be a new review for one of the Silent Night, Deadly Night movies. And I mean the one where it's just a killer Santa, the one where Clint Howard is like the muscle for a coven of bug witches. The one where Mickey Rooney makes the robot Pinocchio. Like we're gonna be covering it. Probably alone because I can already see my wife being like, absolutely not. And I understand her because now, immediately after deciding to do it, I went, you know what? Probably this is a mistake. But hopefully you will join me for that mistake every Sunday. Don't forget also, Nick is on Wednesdays. Wednesday mornings are post-theater clarity. Nick is going to the theater, seeing good, bad, and everything in between at the movie theater. Posting those reviews up. Those come out Wednesday mornings. You got to check those out. Last one we did was for Predator Badlands. Dick went to go tackle that while I was tackling Twin Peaks here. So there's a lot coming up. Plenty more in store. Make sure we are liking, subscribing, and sharing. Right now, our goal is for next year, we want to cross 100. We're at 60. Let's get 40 more. Let's cross 100 for 2026. It's going to be fun. We have plenty to talk about. We have some great ideas for some live streams and reviews, of course. So you don't want to miss it. Make sure you are a part of our community. And until next week, where we talk about Silent Night, Deadly Night. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.